Alright guys, so I'm coming back into this from my other video. Now the other video was speaking of I had a lot of doubts and I had a lot of worries in that moment when I was making the video previously. I was just stuck inside of my own brain a little bit. But and this happens, Jim Carrey's going through his whole spiritual phenomenon at the moment. I don't think he words it as good as it could be done so. Yet he is going through the process, and I know that he is a man of many experiences. He has experienced so much in life, and he is a very self-aware man. And I think, you know, all that I talk about, all that I will speak about, one day I'll expand my horizons. Who knows? Maybe I'll never expand my horizons. But what that I do speak about is that understanding of self and that spiritual awareness, understanding, and one day to be awakening yourself to that spiritual awareness is the key to our salvation. That's all I'll say. That's the ultimate conspiracy. Ultimate conspiracy that ever has been hidden from us is our spiritual nature. And people say, oh, well, that's not true. There's religion everywhere, but I feel that's different to true spirituality. And true spirituality is genuine awareness of self. Awareness of who you are, what you do, what your actions are, being aware of what mentality is driving your conscious reality and what it is that is your, the forefront that is in your awareness. So, and that when you tap into that, knowing that you can look into yourself, look into the self that is what you believe to be you, and into it, turn your senses inward, see inside, hear what is being spoken in the unspoken language, which is not of words, but is of a feeling. It is merely of a sensation, yet this sensation speaks to us and we have reactions from these sensations. So what do these sensations offer for us? And are we listening to these, and are we reacting accordingly to what we can believe to be the best action for us, for our own betterment? And this betterment is most imperative for us, and if we can take heed of that to improve ourselves, and that is the goal for whatever that is to be done, self-development, development of character, development of morality, cleansing, purifying of morality, purifying the mind from negativity, from angst or fear or guilt, which are not easy tasks. These are words, these are ideas, but put it in practice and to really live it, to be able to keep an equanimous mind, to stay level-headed the whole time. It's not easy. And it's not about blocking everything in life. That's not the whole point. Some people think that it's about becoming unemotional, but it's about feeling all the emotions, really taking in life, but being able to stay at a centered state where you are not overwhelmed by these feelings, and it's just a process that goes through your body. So understanding self, understanding what it is to be within the self, and the communication that comes from listening to the self. And what does that mean? What does that mean to listen to the self? What does it mean to hear those things? And then these questions will lead deeper into what is the self? What is the construct and makeup of the self? You can go into the physical matter and look at your blood, your bones, your lymph, your veins, your nerves, your muscle, your tissue, your skin. Is this all self? The hair, the nose, the eyes, the teeth, the lips. Is that self? Is that an individuality self, or is the collective self? But is that it? Is the cellular structure self? Is the mitochondria self? Is is the process the self? The process that the body goes through, is that self? Diffusion, osmosis, all those sort of things. Is that what the self is? What is self? And how far does that expand? How am I interrelated to this reality? And if I am interrelated with a reality that is outside of physical self, that there is a physical construct that I am moving my way through in this third dimensional density or reality that I do traverse, yet it is intertwined, like all other things, like layers of an onion, or layers and like multiple layers. Sorry, I got lost off that point there, but I just want to bring it back and recap to the point of what is self, how are we interacting with it. If it is not all self, it is not all myself, but in a way, I would not make an ultimatum to say that it is so, yet the reflection of the lamp, the glasses, the wallet, the window, the walls, the roof, it's all a reflection of how a relationship works with self, This roof keeps the water off my head. These windows are so that I can see outside. It's in relation with it and how I view it and how I observe it and how we do observe the reality that we are a part of. Maybe there has become a phase where we're becoming too self-centered. Maybe we've lost our sensitivity with the outside and feeling that connection that comes from, what I spoke of merely just then was the material construct of things, connection with things, but people. When you are with people, do you not feel that connection that is so overwhelming at times that you can't handle it? How does this person have this effect on you? And they have their energy, they have their intentions, and you have your energy and you have your intentions. But if you can get to, if there is a time in your life where you can get to a point where you are mastering the elements of self, of knowing your vices, knowing your weak points, knowing your strengths, know your strengths. These are my downfalls, I guess, in the moment where I neglect my strengths or I focus on weaknesses, and to rid myself of weaknesses, yet forgetting to empower the strengths that are within me. And what are my strengths? And emotional intelligence that I am cultivating at the moment, to be able to understand these concepts that are coming through myself, And if it may not be something so extravagant, yet it gives me worth. It gives me the feeling of belonging, not required of other, yet only of acceptance of self, acceptance of how I am and what that does. And these ideas are merely ideas until they can be integrated into the life however you choose to participate in your practice, whatever it may be. If it's an exercise routine that helps you connect with your body and you learn about how you operate with different weights, different exercises, you learn about how the body moves. Or is it reading? How much can I concentrate whilst I read? What do I learn from the book? What is the story telling me? How do I relate? How does it change me as a person? When I write, what do I write about? When I'm working, what is the job that we do? So it always comes, to that refinement. It always comes back to that refinement. And see, I lose my train of thought as well. Flaws, man. Flaws. Another thing I was talking about, that we are flawed. And we will forever be flawed. Never forget that we'll forever be flawed. Which is what I spoke earlier. Perfection. Perfection could be a human construct. An ideal. A pure ideal. Yet I would not deny in the reality and existence of purity. A pure source of, say, consciousness, or of where has all things emanated from? If you trace back all things, where does it all come from? Where do these things come from? If you look at everything around you, you can maybe even see in this video, all things came from the imagination first, then into your thoughts, and then into manifestation. All things have come from that. This place where there is, the realm of imagination. What is that? What is this? How are we connected to that? And how does that influence us? And is that not part of ourselves, our imagination? So that's what I mean, the expanse. I guess that's what I wanted to talk about, is the expanse of self and how far that goes and what it means to be living the life for yourself. It's no longer for yourself, because if you understand the concept of that, other people and other things, and the relationship that you have with the world around you is also how you have a relationship with yourself. But I don't call other people me. They have their own individual lives as well. It is not surrounded or centered around myself. There is a whole nation and whole planet that is operating at the moment on planet Earth alone. And there are solar systems everywhere in the galaxies, and I'm sure the universe and cosmos is bigger than I could ever imagine it to be so. I have a finite capacity of understanding that can be done in the human mind. Yet I have a relationship with it all. I am related to it all. I am in my own center. I am constantly in my center. That is, I am the center of my own universe. Can I not agree to that, or can I not get others to agree that we are the centers of our own universe, no matter what we may think, no matter how far we may extend our horizons? You don't go anywhere without you. You don't look through the eyeballs of another person as much as you could imagine what they could be, so you could never look through the eyes of another person physically. Once again, you can ask for perspective, you can ask for understanding, you can have a communication to see what it is that they see and what it is that they understand, but you will never stand in their shoes. They are in their center, you are in your center. There is a point where you cannot. Now I say that you cannot step inside of their shoes, but what can be done, you can share the space. And that's when you become more than yourself. When you become more than them. That's when we become togetherness. Togetherness, the synergy, the synchronization, the togetherness of frequency. And if we can get the cogs to match, and we can spin at the same rotation, and we can be together in that moment together, for real, in pure vulnerability, then are we not one? Are we not one in that moment? I work together, you pass me the spanner, I turn the screw. And these ways where we work together and people who are in team activities will have a deeper understanding of this. That the team operates as a unit. I'm sure people in the military understand this. The team operates as a unit. And the unity, one, singular, yet is made up of many. So what is the self? But how much? Now there is what you do for the whole, for the other. Now these are the fine lines of, I guess, differences of ideas, beliefs, philosophical understanding, but what is for the betterment of the whole, as you ask? What is that we are trying to achieve here? What is it that we are trying to go towards in this life? I'd like to say who knows, but I would like to say that I know. In what I am working towards, and maybe this is purely in this current moment of my understanding, but liberation, freedom, creation. Constant creation, but not creation for the sake of creation for the sake of liberation. Creation to support liberation. And once we can be liberated, then thus we can move towards new generation, regeneration, recreation, and a new paradigm. But I feel at the start, the first mission would be for liberation from suffering for not merely myself, but for all around me. And maybe I should focus on this, if I understand that this is what I truly seek, that I seek this in every moment of my life, and I seek this in all elements, and there are people around me that also seek similar ways of being. So I do not believe that we all need to stop what we need to do, and this is another thing that I have said before, that we all can continue to live our differences, yet we have the same dream. Can it be done? Who knows? But I'm just here to put out the word about coming back to yourself, man. Come back home. If I'm ever to send a message, anything about it, come back home, man. Bring all your pieces back. Bring all your scattered elements back. Do all that you can to recapture every element of who you are and bring it back and feel that existence of being alive. Really feel that existence of being alive, of being here, and capture that moment. And don't hold on too tight, but be with it. Bring your attention here. And once again, as I said, do your practice, whatever it may be. Do your practice that helps you come back into the moment. Focus, be attentive, be mindful. These are these things that are going to help change the world, and I truly believe it. I truly believe that this is what's going to help change the world, because it has changed my world. It has changed my worldview, and has changed my understanding, and we can come back to not just self, that you are a part of the unit, part of the unity. Then, and this doesn't come from an ideological perspective. This doesn't come from a logical mind. This has to come from an emotional space. You have to be connected to logic and mentality, of course, but also it has to be an emotional feeling. You have to feel it. You have to feel that connection. That's why the practice is important, to feel that connection. Whether it's music, art, your work, your job, your gardening, your walking your dog, something that brings you to the feeling of connectedness with yourself and with other people. And you get that relationship and you're feeling what is important in life. That feeling is the most important thing in life. I'm saying is, and that's it's a very powerful thing to say, but I feel that it is the most important thing in life, to have that feeling of connection. If I feel it, because I have felt disconnected before, where I felt like my spirit in my body is not connected to my physical movements, and it's a very shitty feeling. It's a very fucked up feeling. It's when you are not, with it. I'm still moving, I'm still operating, but I'm not with it. And coming back to self and bringing myself back to the moment and feeling my existence once again, feeling what it means to be alive. It's not what it means to be alive. Feel what it is to be alive. Feel the experience. Feel your emotions. Feel your reactions. It's a very powerful thing. It's a very, very powerful thing. And it can be very intimidating at times because it's very overwhelming. Life force energy is extreme. So find your ways to manage it. Find how you can balance yourself. Find how you can incorporate these and open yourself up. Yes, vulnerability, and open yourself up, your sensations. If we're going to go into other terminology, we could. I'm not going to do it right now. But open yourself up. Open yourself up, just like opening a door. Let more of that breeze in. Let more of that wind come through. But if you just open it straight away, there's a tornado outside, man, it's going to blow you over. It's going to knock you down. And guess what? If it knocks you down, the door is just going to shut again, and then you stand yourself back up, go back from your home, and then slowly open the doors again. It's not always going to be a storm. It's always changing. It's always changing. Everything is always changing. That can be proven by anyone. Everything is always changing. That's a fact. I'm going to say that is a fact, that everything is always changing. It's always going through the states and processes of arising and passing away, arising and passing away, life and death, creation and disintegration. It's true. It is true. And if you understand these concepts, it will always be different. And go with the tides. And just be aware of how much you open yourself up. How can you keep yourself protected? Because it is a very varied world out there, and there are a lot of people wielding a lot of energies. And how you manage that is up to you. And there are practices beyond your belief that can help you with this. And people that are willing to help you with this. Only if you are willing to ask for that help. Or can get to a stage where you can know that you need help. I need help. I need help. I need to help. And I need to help myself, I need help, but I know that the help can come within. I know that help, that necessity that I'm seeking, does not come from anybody else. Yes, other people can help me, but it just shows me that I need to stand up for myself, that I need to stand up on my own 2 feet and feel the ground underneath and walk my walk and what is necessary for my life. And that is my empowerment, and that's how I will make my way through this life. So I'm going to cut it off there because I feel like that's a nice finishing point. But once again, always remember, come back home. Come back home. All your pieces, come back home. And I love you. Trust me, I love you. If I met you on the street, I would say that I love you. Not because I have to. Deep down that I know that I do. And if I got to know you, I'm sure I love you more. And if I care for you because I'm considerate for you. I do these things not because I'm afraid, because I care for you, because I do love you. And that love is just like family. It's innate. It's within my bones. Can't deny it. But there are issues. Yes, there are issues that we need to work out. But the only reason I get frustrated is because I do care. And that's the hardest issue. That's the paradoxical existence, I do care. But there are issues. So let's deal with these issues. Let's confront these. Let's see what the problem is. Let's have a chat. Let's have a talk. And can be done with a stranger. It doesn't have to be family or people you know. Anyone, you can have this conversation with. And we can break boundaries. We can have very good connections in life. And that is how we're going to change this world. That is going to be for the betterment of this place. So thank you very much. And I'll see you next time. Peace.